Hi, it's me again, Steve Krueger, down here in my studio basement, and upcoming is episode number 5 in my series of a lady picking apples in a meadow. It's a windy day, so that's coming up. Here we go. All right, as I mentioned in my intro, this is episode 5, and this, the lady and the apples, the rocks, this is what's coming up on episode number 5. So, away we go. Okay, this is the beginning of episode 5. We're going to do the rocks. Off camera, I laid in some burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, a gray, to gray these slats. We didn't want these screaming white. And off camera, I dropped in this post. So we're going to do the rocks, and we're finally going to get to this lady. I don't know how far we're going to get. Okay, we got the fence, we got the post. Now you'll notice that I used my, I used my Micron 500 pen, and let me just zero in here. Every place where there's a little V, I highlighted this, or I put in the ink to show where the dark parts are. So I did that. You can see that off camera. I did some rocks using burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and I'll do a few more rocks. Now I've got videos on how to do rocks, so I don't want to bore you with that. I'll do a couple. In fact, right now I might as well do it. Let's do this one right here. Now, we don't want these rocks to scream. We don't want them to be real white. We don't want them to be real dark. We want them to be just kind of gray. I'm mixing my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to get a gray. So we'll just make it real dark down here. And see how this is wet, so everything is kind of diffusing. And we just do that, and we keep doing the rocks all the way across. One more. Let's do this one up here. Now these top ones you want to leave white, so her dress is going to really be highlighted when it comes up against this white. I think her dress is going to be a blue. I don't know what kind of blue, but that's what we're going to do. So, mixing burnt sienna, ultramarine blue. We'll come in. Rocks are usually dark at the bottom and light at the top. So you can bring this up like so, and then just blot, and there it's white. So I'll be back. The rocks are all in, everything's dry. Now let's look at the big picture. We're going to get to this lady, but I think I mentioned this in one of my previous episodes. As I said, this is episode 5. And if you've just gone to this episode, start with my episode number 1, and it walks you through all this, how to do the leaves, the sky, the barn, the meadow, this lake back here. But the rocks here, as I mentioned, as I said in one of my previous episodes, you want the eye, you don't want this rock wall going all the way across. That kind of blocks the picture. You want these slats, your eyes go through there. You look at the big picture here, all this going on, and then your eye flows to this Lake Michigan across here with some trees, colorful trees back there. Now I mentioned a lot of watercolor artists, the purists, say you shouldn't use pen and ink. There's definite rules in watercolor. As I've said before, there are no rules in art, especially in watercolor. Do whatever you feel like. Now, I mentioned this is my 005, not my 500, but it's my 005 ink pen. And look at how tiny that point is. So I've inked in the lady, kind of give a graphic arts look. Let me just show you. I'm just going to ink in right here. This is the course, the tab that holds her apron on. And here is the button. So I've inked in the whole lady. I think I've got it all. And we are going to, let me get the big picture. We're going to start with her face. I'm going to mix some skin tones. I'm going to start with her face, bring her alive. Her bare arm here, her bare arm here. And here's the big question. This is her little finger sticking out. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in or out. So I'll agonize over that for a while. I'll be back. Okay, now it's time to bring this lady to life. I have got a mixture. Let's do skin tones. I've got, whoops, wait a minute. I've got permanent rose and orange. And that's what we're going to use. So off to the side here, mixing the orange. And let's see what we got. That's kind of a good, well, that's maybe a little bit too red. Yeah, that's a good skin tone. So here we go. The trick is to lay it in real light, because you can always come back. I want to get closer. Let's get closer. There we go. That's a little too red. So we bring this, pardon my dog's barking, sorry about that. Okay. And this, her hair's going to be blonde, so she's a blonde farm girl. Okay, we're bringing her to life. As I mentioned, I'm mixing just the orange, or the permanent rose and the cadmium orange. Now we'll do, she doesn't have much skin showing. So let's see, it'll be darker down here. We're just laying in. We can come in and put a little red in her cheeks, things like that. Okay, this is her shirt, her undershirt, so the skin starts, oops, that's a little bit too red. Where's my paper here? And we'll bring it down like so. You get the idea. Let's see, right there. The one thing you don't want to do with skin when you're doing this is to come in real dark right at first, because you can always darken it. So and we'll put let's see, like so. All right, am I liking that? Yeah, we'll let that dry. All right, while her skin tone is drying, we're going to lay in some more. We're going to bring her to life a little bit more. This is too light, but while it's drying, I'm going to put in her, what would you call this? Her cap, her babushka, her whatever it is. She's got lots of hair, so this is holding her hair in. I'm going to put, see these round circles? It's going to be, her scarf up here is going to be red with white dots. So off camera, I'm going to lay in some masking fluid using a straw. Always use a straw. Never, never, never use a brush with masking fluid. Real quick, I'll just do one here. Let me zero in on that. We'll do this one up here. And this one here. And this one. Let's see here. Okay, so that's how you do your masking fluid. I'll progress off camera on that. My previous segment, I was zeroed in on her face, but I added a little bit more red down here. Sorry, I screwed up on that. So just a little bit more red, just to bring her to life. Okay, down there. Okay, the dogs must have seen a rabbit looking out the window, I guess, but sorry about that. Can't stop. Now this is going to dry a little lighter, at least I hope it does. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, it's a little bit too red. I'm going to add, this is yellow ochre right here, just a touch of yellow ochre, and then we better call it quits. And we'll put that down here. Yeah, I'm liking that. And let's put that right here. She's got a little tan going here. Feather that in like so. Now the face. Okay, and the arm right here. A little more yellow ochre. Feather that in. See how that looks. Yeah, we're going to call it quits on that. I don't want to make her any darker than that. And we'll put some shadow under here, and we'll shadow around here. Oops. So, be back. This is dry now. We might put her scarf in now. All right, the blonde hair wasn't showing up that well, so I'm adding a little bit. What am I doing? I'm adding a little bit of raw sienna right here. And we'll see what we can do here. This kind of get a little contrast here. And back here against her neck. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, she's looking kind of pale. It's a windy day, so I want to get her cheeks a little bit rosy. So what am I using? Cadmium Scarlet. I got that right there. So, real light. Boy, we don't want to mess this up. Let's just... wet her cheeks, just plain water. And just drop in a little bit. Cads, yeah, just diffuse that. Yeah, that's bringing her to life. And tip of her nose, maybe. Yeah, I'm liking that. Just a little bit. Okay, do we like that? Now while it's still wet, let me zero in. Just blot a little bit, right? We'll drop that. Okay. All right, now it's time for some shadows. I'm mixing, what did I have? I had Permanent Rose, which is this red, and this is cobalt blue, and I'm going to make a purple. I kind of like purple for the shadows. You could do ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. That makes a nice shadow. But here we go. I'm going to come right under like so. Because she's looking kind of plain right now. So that's what we need. We need okay, and we just kind of feather that. I wet the brush. Okay, let's zero in on that. So that's, yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, let's go back to this. Now we'll do a shadow back here. This is completely dry. And yeah, that's kind of cool. We can come back and make it darker if we want. Bring that shadow like so. Let's zero in on that. Okay, are we liking that? Let's go back. Let's make this a little darker. So I'm mixing my, let me show you that. That's my shadow. And we'll put a little shadow down here. A little shadow up here. And let's zero in on that. Okay. Liking that, liking that. All right. Okay, I'm coming in a little, really dark here. And real dark here. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, now it's time to do her scarf. And as you remember, I put masking fluid on all these round dots here. And I found, I've got some pink, Taylor's pink, I don't know where I got that, but I'm mixing pink with permanent rose because I didn't want the red like the barn. So I'm kind of coming up with this color. This is the pink and this is the permanent rose. So let's make a go of it. This is kind of fun. So, don't want to go outside the lines. Okay. Yeah, I could have made her scarf any color I wanted, but this is real delicate in here. Got to be careful. Am I in? Let's go in, like so. Okay, there we go. I want to leave a little white along here. And we'll let this dry, and you can always come back and make it darker. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of fun. She's coming to life. Okay, let's take a look at the big picture. We're just about finished with this. I'm going to wrap this up. I spent, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes just talking about how to bring her skin tones to life. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking a little burnt sienna right here and just kind of bringing this this basket to life. I won't do all that on camera. I'll do that off camera. Now, one thing while I'm at it, I'm taking masking fluid and these apples. I'll just do one or two apples, but let me show you. To bring an apple to life, you do a little, let me zero in on that. Let's get it. I'm just putting little dots of masking fluid, and this is going to be the highlight when I paint over this masking fluid, I'll paint red. I'll drop a little bit of green in. When I scrape it off, I'm going to have this white dot here, and that will be the reflection coming in and showing a highlight on the apples. Okay, as I said, we're getting close to the end of this episode. And remember, I put masking fluid on these circles on her scarf. So we're bringing those to life using one of these erasers. This is designed to pick up masking fluid. So let's zero in on that. Yeah, that's, now if they're too white, you know, if they're screaming at you, you can always lighten them up with a little gray, burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, just to gray them up. But I'll take a look at that and decide. They are kind of screaming, so I might have to do something on that. Now, let's see, I've got to finish this up. Let's bring these apples to life. Got fire engine red. Where is it? This is fire engine red, and this is a spring green of some sort. So let's I'm going to leave this spot right here. I'm going to put a little green in there. But you don't want to mix this green. You want this red to be dry when you put the green in, because you don't want the green and the red to mix. Okay, so we'll make it real. And I'll do one more. Let's see, let's do this one down here. And I don't want to bore you by doing all these apples. So I'll do that off camera. Then we'll zero in, we'll take a look at it. And the next episode, episode 6, hopefully will be the last. We'll do her dress, bring it all together. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and this is the end of episode 5. I decided not to do the dress. We'll wait and do that on episode number 6 because that would make it too long. So I used some spring green and fire engine red to do the apples, and I'll show you how that looks. Let's zero in. Okay, so now remember, I did some let's see, let me get this. I did some masking fluid to do the highlights. Now they are screaming, so I'm using a scrubber brush, and we're going to kind of dull those out just a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now, one other thing, let's see, where is my, here it is. Now, to accentuate, you know, the top of the apple, we'll just do that. Do that around there. Okay, that's looking good. Now I might take a brush with fire engine red and just make this a little bit smaller. Just put a little more fire engine red around there. But you get the idea. I like to put the green in with the apple. Gives it with the red apple. Kind of a good look. Now I also came along with burnt sienna and did a shadow under here. And what else? Oh yeah, one last thing. Let's say, let me zero in again. Let's say these are too white. Just come along with plain water. And I'm just running the brush over these circles. And that kind of, well, there we go. That pushes them back so they don't scream. Okay, this is it. Episode number 6 coming up. I hope you're having fun. This is Trials and Tribulations. Kind of a leap of faith on all this to do this live, and you know, with watercolor, you sometimes screw up, and you've seen that I've screwed up in a few places, and I've showed you some techniques, and hopefully that's of interest. So everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day.